make any progress. I need the clay to always be slippery. If my hands get dry, you'll feel that clay will just start to stick to your hands. But we don't need big ladles or spongefuls of water. You know, just like 4 flat fingers, 10 or 20 drops, as long as it feels slippery and my hands feel slippery. Again, I'm going to start out like this above the clay. I don't want my elbows to wiggle. I don't want my legs to shake. I keep my spine neutral, so I don't, like, you know, bend my head back, you know, push it into my shoulder, into my collarbone, or shrug my shoulders or put them back. And I actually want to tuck in my pelvis and suck in my belly button, the same as if I was doing a squat or a chair pose in yoga, and push my feet down into the ground. But my elbows are going to be like this. I'm going to put the crook of my, the knuckle of my left thumb into the crook of my right thumb, and my fingers should all be pointing at 12 o'clock. I don't want to cross my fingers over and have them pointing at 1 and 11. All my fingertips should point towards 12. I'm going to put my hands together above the clay. Why? Because if I go like this, it's going to be really hard to hold still. So I start up here, and then I squeeze in. Again, right here at like 3 o'clock or due east on a compass, and at 9 o'clock. My thumbs are over the middle. I tell everyone to think of the lady in the low-cut dress. You don't see the middle or the bottom of her bosom. You only see the top third. Like the red carpet. So, like this, that's where I start. You can see my hand is right here. So that's the dome. If my hands get dry, I'm going to add a little water. I don't want to wash my hands clean. I'd like them to always have a thin coat of slip on it. And then I'm going to tuck my thumb underneath here, but leave my fingers and my thumbs touching, and I'm going to push down about 1/3 of the way. Well, this hand's pushing in over here and make the dome. So that's kind of like the cupcake I talked about. Yeah. And what I want is my finger to be as still as when I touch right here, when I touch right here. You can see now if I turned off the wheel, it's very close on one side and far. Imagine I want this line and the base of the clay to feel the same. When I touch here, it should feel like this, not like this. So the third thing I can do is focus on getting this. If I get the top of the clay perfect, but the bottom's wiggling, it'll never get centered. I need to get the bottom, so it's like building a house. I need to start on the bottom, and when I get the bottom centered, the rest of it will just fall into place very easily. But I could make the top perfect 100 times, and it won't help if I don't get the bottom not to wiggle. So the other thing I can do to do this is I can grab my wrist from the top or the bottom and put my sponge in front of my finger. And in this case, I'm not pushing down. I don't want you to think I'm pushing down or pushing at an angle. Imagine I'm pushing sideways. And I'm going to start to push this clay into the pile. And now I'm going to go back to what I was doing. I'm going to make a cone. And again, the cone looks like this. And then I'll tuck my thumb under and make a dome. And then I'm going to make a cone. And then I'm going to make a dome. And eventually my hands are going to start to get dry. See how it's not shiny? Again, I'm just going to... Now I can probably do this over the clay and get enough water on everything at once. And I'm going to come back in again with my... You can see it's better than before, but it's not this still. So I'm going to come in again and push. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to make the cone. I'm going to make the dome. Like I'm inhaling and exhaling. I need to do both to breathe. And I'm always going to let go very slowly. If I am pushing and I let go suddenly, my clay is going to wiggle just because I let go too fast. So even if you feel like, oh, I've got it, don't go yippee and let go fast. Like, oh, thank goodness. Take a little slow release. So, and I don't want to finish in the cone shape. Well, now I got it off again doing that, so now I got to do it one more time here. I want to finish in the dome shape. I'd like it to be a little wider at the bottom, a little narrower at the top. And now you can see my fingers the same, and the distance is the same in between. That's how I'll know my clay is centered. And I'll be able to tell by taking my finger and going like this. If it's bumpy at the top, it means I probably let go too fast. So, this is what we'll practice for the first 10 minutes.
That was really easy, but